What's up, guys? This is my 4 steps that I created to create clarity, finding purpose in what you're doing, finding what you love doing, and then take massive action and make money on the things that you actually love doing. So here we go. So how this all started for me was that my father passed away in 2012. I was devastated, and I was confused, and I was broke, and I had nothing in my life literally except a few things that I own, my clothes, and I was living with my ex-partner at this time in a one-room apartment. I was literally broke, to be honest, and I didn't really have any purpose in what I was doing. I didn't know where I was going, and I felt quite lost, to be honest. And I was like, if this is the life that is, I'm not sure if I want to be here even. And I remember being so kind of like heartbroken and sad about that life was this way. I couldn't understand that, like, there must be more to life. There must be more that I wanted to do, because I saw things around. I was like, I want to do this, and I want to do this, and how can I make all of these stuff happen? Until I had this massive breakthrough. It came through I read a book, actually. That's how it all started. So I read this book, and I see this person, and I wanted to make more money at this time. I had started, I can make a little bit, but it was not really enough, and I was like, I want to do more things in life, and it has to be more. So what happened was that I ended up buying a ticket to a seminar in Vegas, and I'm from Sweden, so it's quite far of a flight, but it's also was a big stretch in the terms of money. At that time, I paid $15,000, which is equivalent of like 150,000 Swedish. That's a lot. But I wanted to make more, and I felt that everything just came on auto. Like everything went on auto, and it was just the same thing over and over and over. And it was like I was in a hamster wheel. I couldn't really get out of it, and I couldn't understand also what was driving this whole thing. And I also want to share the 3 secrets that I found to this 4-step process. I'm going to tell them to you really soon. I buy this ticket, which was crazy. People looked at me like, what? What are you going to do? So I buy this ticket, and I knew in my heart that it's like, I need to do something different in my life. I just felt that I was like in a rut, and I didn't really know where to go with my life. I was honestly, I was unhappy. That's what I was. I was unhappy with my situation, and I wanted to be more happy. I wanted life to be fun. I wanted life to be like, yay, let's go do things. But I was stuck in this kind of like rut where everything was going round and round and round. So in the bottom, I probably looked for happiness, and I felt like I wanted to work with something that made me genuinely happy. That I felt like I served, and I was there, and I was appreciated for what I was doing, because that's had been a big driver. When I appreciated for the things that I do, that's what kind of like motivates me to do more. So I was like, I want to find this thing. And I also did understand that I have to do better stuff with my mind. I have to put something more into my mind to get me to a new destination in life. If I wanted to be happier, which I think was the root cause of what I wanted to do at that point, I just needed to do something different. So I come to this seminar, and it's like a huge place, just like here, right? You see that it's a huge place. There's no chairs there right now, but it's a huge place. And I go there, and I can see these people dancing. And I was like, what is going on right now? And I was really uncomfortable. And I remember I kind of like judged, and I was like, oh shit, maybe I did a mistake. Maybe I put up a lot of money, traveled a long way, but then at the same time I was thinking maybe I would give myself a little bit of time so I can just adjust to this. Maybe I just observe this whole thing, and I would just like see what happens. I think 2 days goes on an event that was like 7 days, and I started to like it. And I remember myself standing there one day with a hand on my heart, in a big room with a lot of people, and I had the hand on my heart, and I started to cry. And I realized that when I looked down on the stage, I realized I didn't really come for the money. Even if I wanted that also, what I really came for and what I really wanted in the bottom of my heart was connection with like-minded people. I wanted the positive energy that was there. I remember I could just walk around with people and just talk to anyone, which was for me fantastic, because where I come from, normally people just don't talk. Like they kind of like, nah. And if you talk to them, they're kind of like, what do you want from me? Like, do you want to sell something to me now? Or like, what's the deal? And I didn't really like that. I didn't like that at all. And I came to this space, and I remember I was like, wow, I'm in heaven. I can talk. All of these people, they're so positive. All of them, they're just like me, and they're all like wants more out of life. And in the moment, I saw the guy who ran this thing, which was Tony Robbins at this event, 2018, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do just that. I'm gonna do just that. I'm gonna make sure that one day I create a safe space where I can bring people and we can come together and we can just grow and share and make sure we break through all of our stuff, and we can go for the things that all of us want, and we can have this small like community of people. Because in the bottom of my heart, I think that is what I really wanted. I wanted people to understand me, and I wanted people that I resonated with, and I wanted people to really be there so I can have some to talk to and share my things with, and I could like, we had the same kind of humor, and some people, they even met their partners of their life. It was the best like Tinder ever. So that's when I realized that events, places, is the place to be, is the place to connect with people, to grow and learn, and make sure you always get progress, because progress equals happiness. You know, I remember I said to you, I wanted happiness. Yes, I wanted progress, because progress made me, even if it was a small one, it made me feel happy, and that's what I wanted. So I always could take the next step on my journey. And I remember I had all of these mind things about this whole place, that what if these people kind of like don't like me, or what if these people think like this and this and that, and I had all of this stuff in my mind. And it was not until I came to the place and I was invited and I was accepted, and I was more than accepted by all of these people, and they basically shared me on. Normally I had to kind of like fight for what I was kind of like wanting to do. Is if I wanted to do more, normally people said like, you know, Michael, why do you want to do so much? Like, why do you want to go all in and everything? And when I came there, everything was like, yes, good job. Oh, you done that? Oh, do more. I was appreciated for wanting to do more, and I had never found that in the outer world out there. So when I came to this place, I was amazed about like, you know what? Here I can be me. Like, I can fully be me. Because in the world out there, it was really hard to express myself fully and being accepted. I expressed, but I was never really accepted. But here I could come and I can express fully, and all of a sudden I was like I was in heaven, I felt. And before I went there was one big thing that was like, it was a really long flight. That time I flew from Sweden to Vegas, Las Vegas in America. That was a lot. It was like 20 hours flight to get to this place. And I remember my stomach, and I had headaches in my stomach. I could feel like shit, like something is wrong, like it's wrong in my stomach. I'm sick. Or for example, I needed to go, and this maybe sounds crazy, but before the event, I was so nervous and my body wanted to go to the toilet so much, and I thought there was something wrong with me, but actually it was just part of the process. And I can remember how my body was like really wanting me to not go. And I remember my body was like, I felt sick, but I also now know that it was just my body reacted to the change that was about to happen. And I've been experiencing other people at my own events where they called me like, Michael, I'm sick. I don't know if I can come. And I always used to say like, you know what? It's just change within your body. That's how powerful this is. That's how powerful it is. Your body trying to make sure to self-sabotage. And by the way, we talk about self-sabotage in the 4 steps process at the event. And when the body tries to self-sabotage, it want to go back to what's familiar. And I remember this so clearly because it was there. It was my body. It was like, oh, I am sick. Like I thought I was sick. Like I thought I had ate something bad, that my stomach was like really off. So the 4 steps that we talk about, it's really simple actually, but it's very, very powerful. So in the beginning, I call it awareness phase. That's where we start to like dig into what's been there, and we set some intentions, and we know like, okay, this is how everything looks. This is how it is right now. In the second step, later on, that's the reset phase. So we reset things. We start to dig into what needs to be adjusted in your life. Because if we don't delete the things that are already in places that makes you go towards the things that you go to naturally, you're gonna keep doing that. So we're gonna align those things in the reset phase, where we make sure that we take away what's not serving anymore. And when we've done that, we come to the action phase, and here is where we fill up where the things that we want to go for. So when we taken away the things, we can pour in new things in the direction that we want to go, and we make sure that we take action and we go towards the things that we desired and that we put in step 1. And in this amazing action stage, we literally delete things like stories that are created that runs in our mind. We delete the stories that no longer serves, and we put a new story in. We also dig up all of these beliefs that's inside of us that is literally moving us to the direction that we don't want. And we delete them, and we put new empowering beliefs that we choose inside of you. And then the last stage is about anchoring things, and we anchor those things in with like deep things, like you find out why you're doing it, you find out your purpose, and you find out the things that you really love to do, and so you can have energy, continue doing that over and over and over throughout your life and build upon it. So I created this for myself. And why did I do that? Because I was myself in the situation where I didn't really know what was working and where I was wanting to go and what way I was going. So I created this 4-step process for that reason. And so these things can basically only be done in a place like this. We need to come together, and we need to do it together over one full day, because there's something really magical happens when we go through the energy exercise in the beginning. I didn't tell you about that, but that's in the first stage where we learn about energy, and that energy is really empowering us. And when we have that energy, we can basically move things within us. We can clear the blockages, we can get rid of the things that's inside of it. But if we don't have the energy, we can't really do it. So it needs to be together. It needs to be in a live space where you actually meet other people. So I've been doing these things on myself since 2017. Like every year I've just been like punching these things inside of me, so I know it works, and I know that it works with other people. I've been doing it in the jungle, in Mexico. I've been doing them in Sweden. I've been doing them in America. I've been doing them all around in Europe, and it works for every single human being if they participate and if they want to do it.
I came here to change my life and put it back in the right direction, and I feel like I've done that.
So I told you about the 3 secrets, right? And here's the first secret. The first one is that the blockages that we have inside of us is either through a belief or a story. Normally that can only be changed when you're interacting and you're doing literally an exercise that moves that stuff out of you. That needs to be coming out of your body. That story needs to be released from your mind, so the body and all the information and all the thought just leaves it, and then you can rewrite a new story or a belief inside of you. Secret number 2 is that all energy is generated by psychology, which means that your state and how you feel is only generated by the thoughts and the ideas that your mind holds. So your body has so much energy. By having the wrong psychology around energy, you will either be like really tired or you will be not tired. And then secret number 3 is that the way we show up, that's the way life unfolds. So the more we show up, the more can life just keep giving us things step by step. if we're not there and are like living our own journey, if we're not walking the path, our own path, life cannot just like give you step by step. So it's really important to just literally like, you know what, I'm gonna go for my own life, and deciding that, you know what, I'm gonna go for my journey, and I'm gonna sure my journey is the most important thing. A lot of people makes that confused with like, oh, that's ego, blah blah blah. No, when I walk my journey, I can serve and I can do and I can be and I can inspire other people to do the same thing. So I want you to go down and click the link, because we only have a few space left. So down here you can click the link and get the early bird price, and you can come and you can do all of these amazing things with us, making sure you set yourself up for success, for the things that you want to go for in life, and finding what you want to do, finding something that feels like, this is what I do, I make money off of it, and I'm comfortable in doing it. I know how it feels when you're like, oh, should I do this? What should people think now? Like all of this overthinking, all of this procrastination where you kind of like, no, I'm not sure. You start and you go out and you do it a little bit, and then you're like, no, I'm not going to do it. I've been doing that for so many times, and it's like, it's the most horrible thing when you start, but then you don't finish it. This is going to be a complete reset for you. I've been thinking so long, like, I just want to reset my life. I just want to reset everything, and I want to go out there so I can live the life that I want to live. Is that making sense? Listen to this guy, what he said after he went to one of our seminars.
When they say go all in, motherfucker, go all in. This is the real deal. This is what you've been looking for. They have process here. You trust the process.
And then you have this girl. She also lost weight without doing anything. Listen to this.
Side effect of this, not only lost my pain from my shoulder and from my hip, I also lost weight without doing anything. It's
Wow.
like the burden came out, you know, like I'm 65 kg now.
Yeah,
I really
so
lost
you-
a lot of weight.
Wow.
I look amazing. I feel amazing. I'm attracting people. I am a magnet for men, even if I don't need it now. But I'm a magnet.
Wow.
I can feel it. I can see it. I can see how people look at me.
You're shining.
It's great. Yeah, because I feel like this.
How is this even possible? How can people lose weight and be more happy and fulfilled by doing nothing after this? I can tell you a little bit of a secret. So as I told you before, the secret number 2 is that our internal story and beliefs are the resistance to where we want to go. So when we release things inside of their body, the body can just automatically like do these things without them even thinking about it. Like there was no resistance anymore, and all of a sudden they ended up in the exact weight that the body knows that it should weigh, no matter what you eat. Yeah, so click the link down below and make sure you get yourself a ticket if you feel like this is something you want to start in your life with in like 2025 and go for the things that you really want to go for. This is a perfect timing for that. We only do this one time. I'm only going to do this one time and one time only. I remember that I used to be able to just like sit and think my way through something. But when I came to one of my first ever seminars and I realized that it's not about sitting and thinking, it's actually about energy in the body. When I move, that's where it's basically kind of like generated. So when I could combine these 3 things that I teach in my seminar, it's where like I didn't understand that I need to generate more energy. Like if I have a problem here, I need to have more energy to resolve this problem than on the problem's level. I couldn't understand this until I experienced it. When I experienced how I can manage my energy and how I can use my own energy and how I have more without knowing that I have more, when I know how to get that out of my body, all of a sudden life was pretty easy, because everything is about energy, and if you don't have energy you can't do anything. And I used to sit in my couch and I used to sit and think and I never got anywhere. I never came out of it. So when I learned the 3 steps of creating energy, which is actually our first step out of our 4 in the seminar, then all of a sudden my life changed. That was the internal thing, like how should I do this? Like I used to ask myself, how should I do it? The how is the energy. Like with more energy, there is like, how just it solved, how it dissolve itself when you have more energy. When you don't have energy, you're like, you can't do anything. It's impossible, literally. And I needed to like be there and feel the vibe of the whole thing. And you're just like, okay, if I get out of my head, if I get out of this whole situation where I was overthinking so much, and if I just move, and if I do these things that I practice, and if I understand what I was learning and what we're teaching, if I just understood those things, all of a sudden I can take myself and I can do different things. All of a sudden I stopped the overthinking. I was no longer procrastinating, and I was going towards the things that I really wanted to do. Is that making sense? I came out of this like a Superman. I flew out there and I was like, wow, I know exactly what to do now, and I can use this in my everyday life. I know exactly what to do, what button to push, how to move, what to say, what to think, what to speak. And when I do these things, all of a sudden life was easy. I have experienced life as like hard before. I had experienced life as not fun, and I was really looking forward to finding happiness. I was miserable at the time. And what I really discovered was that like when I came to a place like this, I was like, oh, I'm free. This is the real me. This is the real me doing the thing. I can go after anything I want, and I can experience. I can have a partner. I can have a business. I can do anything I want. I can travel the world. I can do anything when I have energy. Does that make sense? And the thing is, we don't know until we've done it. We don't understand, and we're not convinced by it until we kind of like experience the whole thing, right? So I was like, oh, I had to fly so far. This is like, oh, it's a 22-hour flight. It's on the other side of the world. It cost $15,000. Like, wow, should I really do this? This is crazy. Is this even real? Would they scam me? Like, all of this stuff, right? But not until I actually came there and I really understood that this is the shit. This is the thing. And just like my other people that have come to my seminars, it's just that when they're there, then it's like, oh, it's all fine. I had one person, she called me up in the middle of the night before, and she's like, Michael, I can't come. I think I'm sick. My stomach is really bad. And I said, no, your stomach is not bad. This is your body knowing that you are going through something like emotional strong. Our bodies sometimes get us headache, stomach problem, like, oh, our stomach is bad, or we get really nervous. Our nervous system is really on hype, and that is not something bad. It's actually a good thing, but the mind can go like, no, don't go. It's not good. No, what should that be? Blah, 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 blah. All of this stuff in the mind, right? That's the overthinking. That's the scarce mindset that talks. And if this happens, it's actually a good sign that you're on the right path. If we go towards this, that's going to be great. I remember having this that I almost like freaked out, and I almost chickened out, and I almost like didn't go. But as soon as I just pushed through, I had the most freedom that I can ever have. I just got to experience everything that I wanted to manifest. Everything just came to me like it's just like a flow of like abundance of things. It's really beautiful.